We flew to Gander and drove to Crowhead, a very small, picturesque community on the east coast of Newfoundland. Crowhead has multiple persona. It is incredibly pretty under the evening sun, but brooding and somber in the fog. During a storm like Hurricane Bill, the village became a forbidding place. Then under a full moon, it was peaceful again. Our home away from home was the 130-year-old Victoria Cottage, so named for the likeness of Queen Victoria, carved by Mother Nature in a nearby sea stack. While enjoying the ocean view, Ruth did lots of needlepoint when she wasn't out walking to the lighthouse. Don worked remotely via the internet. At first he drove to Twillingate to use the public library wireless service. Then he got a Bell Mobile's internet stick and could work from the cottage. He did take some time out to eat crab sandwiches accompanied by Chardonnay. While watching the passing scene of whales and seabirds, Ruth indulged in Merlot, and the traveling cups enjoyed the peaceful scene too. One distinctive landmark around Newfoundland are the 55 operational lighthouses, often with historical significance such as Cape Race, or geographical fame such as Cape Spear. Most are automated, some being only foghorns. We have visited 19 over the years. This is Long Point, just a 20-minute walk up the hill from Victoria Cottage. The rugged nature of the coastline is mute testimony to the need for such a warning system. A week later, we met Barbara and John Barron in Trinity. Aside from the renowned local theatre, another highlight was a historical boat ride with Bruce Miller, who grew up in that area. In every cove, he could narrate some aspect of outport history involving his family. We really got to know Uncle Joe well. One cove was the site for the filming of Random Passage, and it is now a tourist destination. Families were out working the food fishery that opens 2 weeks in the summer and in the fall. The quota is 5 fish, also known as cod, per person per day. Fish are still split in the old ways, but dried with a modern touch on a clothesline, atop a wheelbarrow, or a table to be stored for cooking many months later. At British Harbour, an abandoned outport, there were the remains of several buildings. A stone sidewalk made by the residents was the way to go along the shore. As in many abandoned outports, there are restored cabins. Barbara and John soaked up Bruce's local lore. At Bruce's cabin, Ruth and Barb also found topics to discuss, maybe whether or not you really can sail straight from nearby Ireland's Eye to Ireland, and you really can. On the way back to Trinity, a garage sale caught our attention. The entry was festooned with a variety of unusual characters. We are not sure what this fella was looking for. Apparently Michael Jackson once lived there too. At Port Rexton, we hiked a stretch of the Skirwink Trail where we saw this garden fence made from interwoven branches, no nails. Then there were the upright spruce cones. Who knew? They certainly caught Ruth's attention. The sea stacks, sculpted by wind and waves, were amazing. The King's Cove Lighthouse provided us with further insight into local history at the end of a short hike, which was also completed by the Camp Cups. Elliston is the root cellar capital of the world. This was the traditional way of storing vegetables like potatoes and turnips that is still used now by families with large gardens. On the 5-kilometer hike from Elliston to Spiller's Cove, we were treated to more rugged coastal scenery and great sea stacks. Then on to St. John's, where the harbour entrance is overseen from the battery by the multicoloured houses that are St. John's trademark. The iconic rooms, a new history museum, dominate the skyline along with the basilica. Nearby is the Cape Spear Lighthouse, which is the easternmost point in North America. East of St. John's is the village of Flat Rock, where the Pope, standing at Our Lady of Lourdes Shrine, blessed the fishing fleet in 1984. To hike some of the East Coast Trail, we went to Pooch Cove at the north end of the Avalon Peninsula. Elke Detmer, our host at Points East B&B, spearheaded the trail development in that area. The trail from Flat Rock to Pooch Cove is well maintained and provides comfortable hiking. We had ample opportunities to view humpback and minke whales that were quite close in. This route provided spectacular scenery for multiple Kodak moments, which included lots of secluded beaches, coves with rocky shores, and expanses of very blue ocean. We passed a memorial to a young fellow who made the mistake of swimming in this cove where the riptides were apparently stronger than he was. At trail's end, we picked several containers of blueberries that went into our pancakes the next morning. A visiting artist etched the pattern in this rock. A local garden had a real Newfie flower bed, so to speak. The hikes from Torbay to Flat Rock and Pooch Cove to Cape St. Francis provided some interesting signs to read, more opportunities for the camp cups to explore, and lots more amazing coastal scenery.